I'm going to talk about my forestry vest and the equipment that I carry with me when I work in the forest and the woods. You already see me use this diameter tape. This is obviously the way that we measure the diameter of trees. This is actually a logger's tape where I can also measure off distance from a tree, you know, if I need to get a certain distance from a tree for a measurement. So that's that. The next, probably most important tool I carry is this guy. This is a wedge-shaped prism. If you can see, it's pie-shaped, and what it does is when you hold it out in front of you, it refracts the light. Okay, and so I'm at a plot center when I'm using this, and I go around in a circle and I look at all the trees in my area, in my space, and when the light refracts through this, when you line it up with a tree or an object, what it does is it overlaps the image, okay? And if the tree is considered in my plot, the image will overlap. If there's a gap between the image and the real stem, then the tree is considered outside of the plot and not included in the plot. And this is a factored prism, so it's 10 factor. So what that basically means is every tree that I get in my plot, I would multiply then by 10 to figure out the basal area. And then this can get a little confusing, but basal area is basically the cross-sectional area of the stem of trees in a given forest, in a given stand, okay? It's a term for density and stocking. We use that for density and stocking. So if I had eight trees in this plot, we would have an 80 square feet of basal area in this plot. And then we can use that number on a stocking chart to figure out what our stocking level is in a given stand. And that helps us determine if we need to do a thinning or some kind of harvest to help get a better stocking. So this is a wedge-shaped prism, very important tool. Other tools that I carry, a trusty compass, in case I need, to shoot a bearing or azimuth, or if I, get lost. I'm pretty good about finding my way, get my way out of woods, but compass is always good for a forester to have. And then you saw me earlier in a clip using this tool. This is a clinometer, and I also use this tool very often for tree height and percent slope. We talked about that earlier. So that's that, and then of course I have pens. I usually carry a clipboard with me. We have like some guides and stuff. I almost never use them, but and then last but not least is this tool. And this tool is called an increment borer. And if I had kids in front of me, I would say, what do you use this tool for? Just to see if anybody knows. But I'll tell you, this tool is used to determine the age of a tree. And there's three main pieces, but basically this is the main piece, and then this is the part that pulls the core. But basically it has a sharp bit part that you would then, this tree would be way too huge obviously to use because this is only a 12-inch, which would mean to get to the middle of the tree I would only be able to core up to a 24-inch tree. And that it's going to take a core specimen the whole way, but at 4.5 feet at diameter breast height, you would core into the tree and just crank on this, and then you push this in and pull out the core specimen, and then what you can do then is count the tree rings, right? So trees put on annual rings every year, and you just count those tree rings to determine the age of the tree. And you just need to make sure you get to the middle point of the tree, obviously. So an increment borer. I think that's it. I would show you, but this tree's way too huge. And technically it sort of damages the tree a little bit. I mean, it doesn't kill them or anything, but it's, I typically try to pick a tree that's not going to be like super nice saw timber or something, because it does put a chance for, rot to get in there or something, so if it doesn't heal fast enough. That's all the tools I have with me. I also use a rangefinder, a laser rangefinder, which I can use for distance and height. I left it in the truck. I have a plot center stick, which is also in my truck, which I always use. That's my plot center stick. Other than that, just boots and the attire.
How big of a plot are you usually?
What's that?
How big of a plot?
It's not really a given radius because, again, we use these wedge-shaped prisms, and the wedge-shaped prism I should have said this earlier, it takes into account basal area, again, the cross-section area of trees. So this tree, I could be like over 100 feet away from this tree and it would be in my plot. But then a tree that's this big could be 20 feet from me and would be outside of the plot. So there is no given area of my plot. Again, it's all based on relative size of the cross-section of the tree, if that makes sense.
He's in the Invasives. He's going to be backing up heading for Somalia, and he lost his knife. He's man. I hate to lose that thing. If you come across it, would you get it? And he says, I probably will.